My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to Top 10 in Under 10 AC/DC to ZZ Top. I is for Iron Maiden, and this is my Top 10 Iron Maiden. Alright, so we're just gonna get into this. Some of these will seem very obvious, some of these will be like, really? And at the end, you'll be able to leave your comments. Okay. These are in no particular order, just the way I put them down on this list here. All right, so first off, we got Iron Maiden, the actual song, Iron Maiden. Love this song, that dueling guitars. Yes. Yes, every day of the week, yes. And I opted to go with the version from the original album with Diano. If you're one of my regular viewers, you will know that the Iron Maiden album is actually my favorite Maiden album. Even though it's not my favorite Dickinson album, it's overall my favorite Maiden album. I listen to that one probably more than any other one still. All right, after that, speaking of my favorite Dickinson album, we've got The Trooper from Peace of Mind, which is my actual favorite Dickinson album, and the only album that I will say is comparable to Iron Maiden in my perspective. Trooper is one of my favorite songs, and when I was playing in my band, The Howling Odyssey, it was funny because my ex-wife, who was the bassist, and I would get in arguments over the lyrics in the band, because I usually wrote most of the lyrics. And we had a couple songs, one or two of them didn't have choruses, and she said something about the fact that there were no choruses to get the fans to sing along with. And I kept saying, well, if you want, we have spots in here, we can do a Trooper. And I go, oh, as the chorus, we'll do it up differently so it doesn't sound like a Trooper, right? So that was usually how I won an argument if I wrote a song without choruses, is I went, Trooper! After that, next one's going to be a little bit interesting. The Klansman from Virtual X. I really wanted, since I had Diano on here, I really wanted to put Blaze Bayley on here. I contemplated using a live version of The Klansman so I could use Bruce doing it instead. But I figured, hell no, let's give Blaze his proper due here. And I went with the version actually off of Virtual 11. Then we're back to Peace of Mind for Flight of Icarus. This was the song that really got me in Iron Maiden, and it is to this day one of my top 3 Iron Maiden songs, along with Trooper and another one which is going to be coming up in a couple tracks. But Flight of Icarus, I just absolutely, I've always been kind of into the story of Icarus. Even well before Iron Maiden, I was in the story of Icarus. Probably would blame Kid Icarus from Nintendo for the reason why I got into that so much earlier than I did through Iron Maiden. But I just think it's a great song, and I love Bruce's voice on this one. I think it's one of Bruce's best vocal performances. And getting to see him do it live, even though he's gotten older and he can't hit the notes the same way, it's still brilliant to watch him do it live. He still does the song beautifully live. And I was very happy to get to see it when I got to see them a few years back. Then we got Dance of Death, the only Iron Maiden song that I actually am bummed out I have not gotten to see live. Most other Iron Maiden songs I have wanted to see live, I have seen live, and that's pretty cool since I've only been to 2 Iron Maiden concerts. Dance of Death is the one that I have resigned myself to. I will probably never get to see live now that they're well past the Dance of Death tour. And it is a real shame because it is a really good song, man. I just love the brilliance of it. The problem is it's too much like Fear of the Dark, with lyrical content, not instrumentation, because I would say the instrumentation in Dance of Death is actually more technical and intricate. But they are very similar in a lot of ways. So, given a choice, most people are going to want to see Fear of the Dark over Dance of Death. Then we go into Running Free, which is, I remember I said I had 3 favorite Maiden songs. You know, The Trooper, Flight of Icarus. Running Free is the other one. And I actually very much prefer the Di'Anno version over the Bruce Dickinson version. I mean, when Bruce does it live, it's great. But I like the raw grittiness of Di'Anno's version. And it's one of those songs that I really wish I could find a good version of on karaoke, because it's one of those songs that I've always wanted to karaoke the hell out of and have never been able to, because Di'Anno's voice register is a lot easier to do than Dickinson's voice register is. Had to include one instrumental on here because it's one of those things that Iron Maiden sadly has kind of left by the wayside over the years. Put Genghis Khan on here, man. Love Genghis Khan. That's just a good song off the Killer album. Totally get into it. And then we got Run to the Hills, because that drum riff, man, as a drummer, anybody who's been a regular viewer has heard me say it. As a drummer, that drum riff is such a pain in the ass, but so much fun. That just, something else. And then we hit Wasted Years. Okay, so Wasted Years is one of those songs that really should be in my top 3 as well. I love it very much. But I don't put it in the top 3 because my top 3 is technically top 4. Because Wasted Years is right there with Flight of Icarus and Trooper. Running Free is actually my favorite Iron Maiden song, and then those 3, so The Trooper, Flight of Icarus, and Wasted Years are basically right underneath that. So I have a number 1 song, and then I have 3 songs tied for number 2. Wasted Years, it's that guitar riff, man. That guitar riff is just fantastic at the beginning. Brilliant. And then we're going to finish off with Fear of the Dark. Yes, Fear of the Dark. But the version of Fear of the Dark I'm putting on here is the live version. And I'm going to, realistically, I could have grabbed the live version off of quite a few different live albums. And the one I opted to grab it off of was off of Book of Souls. Just to get a later, more recent version of it, because the Book of Souls, the live chapter, was released in 2017, so this would have been like the 2016 tour, which at this point is like 7 years ago, but you know, it was a little more modern compared to everything else I would have from them right now. So yeah, that's my top 10 for Maiden. Let me know what you think. Tell me your top 10 below. I'm really interested. Maiden's got such a vast repertoire, and I know there's albums I completely ignored. Well, I overemphasized other albums, but we all have our preferences, and that's what the comment section is for, so you can tell me what your preferences are. On your way down, you'll see a link to Patreon and the TWA, which is the Trampoline Wrestling Association. Please give those a click, show a little love over that way. And speaking of showing love, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell for notifications. Peace, love, and take care.